music off. What's up, guys? We are live with... Oh, I gotta turn that off. Mississippi Kaiju, a.k.a. Tre Williams. What's up, man?
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Glad to have you on the first episode. Glad we can make this happen.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
So let's just jump right into it. How long you been an artist?
Well, I've been an artist since I want to say when I first started recording, it was 2010.
2010?
Yeah, when I first recorded anything, 2010.
And out of where?
The first time I recorded, it was actually in Fresno, California.
Oh shit, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Was it with anybody particular, or was it just by yourself?
It was by myself, and then I ended up joining a local group called Fresno Block Stars,
Okay.
and and I was with them for a few years until the group disbanded.
Okay. Now, what made you want to start becoming a rapper or musician in general?
What the funny thing is, it felt like music was always predestined for me. Let my mom tell it. Like, my first sentence I ever said was "Whoop, there it is." You know what I'm saying? From that old song. I forgot who song that was, but that's what she said.
Salt and pepper, no?
Nah, it wasn't no salt and pepper. It was not. They gonna revoke your hip hop card for that one. Yeah.
I could have swore. Let me look it up right now. I'll look it up. Whoop, there it is. Tag team. That's an actual group name.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. It sounds like Uptown DJs. You from the South, so you might have heard of them. Like an old group, but it's like underground, not really mainstream, type thing.
Right.
Okay, so you was listening to them, made you want to do it. Your mom always told you should be a musician.
Well, no, it wasn't nothing like that. It was it's just always just music. Like, like my mom's, she used to sing and all of that. She used to, she actually was with a group at one point. She actually did get a deal at Capitol Records at one point.
Oh, okay. So did she take you like recording with her and stuff, and you got to see the process, or?
I didn't get to see none of that.
No part of it.
That all happened before I was born. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reasons, you got to interview her to get them reasons why that didn't pan out the way that it did.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But originally I wanted to be an R&B singer. I wanted to sing R&B originally.
Yeah, man, I can see that. You got a voice, and you're very creative in a lot of things that you've done. I've seen, like you incorporate yourself with the lyrics, but like it's like a character that you can put on at that time. Like with my song that we've done together, because I'm an artist too. If the audience doesn't know, we've done 420 every day, but then we've done what was the other track we did, Trey?
Spark.
That's right. And that was, each one, like, they're talking about smoking marijuana, but you yourself don't smoke marijuana, right?
Right.
Okay. And that's just being real, and as an artist, showing your creativity and how you can incorporate yourself, put yourself into a character and say, okay, this is what the other artists want. I can do that. And there's no disrespect intended or sidecasted from that. And if people want to say that, they can go the other way, because as an artist, you're trying to do multitude type of things, learn every aspect, every value of it, and acting, putting yourself into a story could be incorporated into that, right?
Yeah. That's actually a real good way of saying that. Um, I always, 'cause it's always about the attention to detail when writing this music and doing the songs. It's like anybody that does the song with me, I always ask, okay, what are we doing? What direction you need me to go in?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll actually go ahead and study the topic so I can, make a more broader perspective in my verse, so I actually seem like I know what I'm talking about.
Or even be to make sure it goes along with what the other artist is saying, and your verse
Exactly.
isn't totally going off another subject or topic than what the other artist is saying. I've heard that, seen that a lot in
Exactly.
my past, and it's interesting how artists will have it's like a stereo cast. They'll have a certain type of thing that they do, whether it's talking about smoking or talking about violence in the streets and gang violence, or whether it's talking about R&B, being a singer. But in the same retrospective, as an artist, we do anything and everything to incorporate ourselves, to learn to incorporate that in what we're doing. So that doesn't mean you can't do that. Like me, myself, I try to branch out in many things, and I'm not great in everything that I do, but the challenge of trying to do it and learning how to do it, when I go back to rapping, it just becomes that much easier. But then I can incorporate that to volumize my rap rather than just being a basic stereotype cast. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate that and respect that in a lot of things that you've done.
For sure, for sure.
So, when's your first song come out? You said 2010. You start recording. When did your first song come out? Release?
Uh, the funny thing is, I wasn't even really out there like that. I mean, because with the Fresno Block Stars, we didn't like we did some shows, but nobody was like really putting their money together. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like we wasn't really out there. Like we ain't had no manager like that. We ain't have no marketing budget like that. So I didn't really start getting out there.
Do you feel like it? My bad, not to interrupt. Do you feel like it was everybody not playing the part as a group, or just everybody trying to be an individual but wanting to be a part of the group to volumize from a group aspect?
Yeah, I think it was nobody was really like playing a role. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody was just wanted to make music. Everybody was making music. You know what I'm saying? And, just want to come over, record all the time. But wasn't nobody putting no money behind any of it.
Okay.
And that was the problem. That was the issue. And I didn't really start getting out there until after I became solo and I started making strides on my own, which that started happening like in 2014.
Okay.
And that's when I became, well, I wouldn't say the artist that I am now, but started becoming the artist that I am now.
Took it more
Because I
serious,
started
you would say?
branching out. Yeah, I started branching out. I started writing the songs that I wanted to make and everything versus, the songs that the group wanted to make, you know. And this is when I was Gemini, because my first name was Gemini.
Okay, okay.
And and I was making strides. I was doing some shows. I did some Stop the Violence events. Was on local radio, two local radio stations. I was on local television and all of that. And and actually the first song that had all of Fresno going crazy was my song Full Moon, which is a song that you heard the
Yeah,
first
yep,
time.
yep. I love that song.
Mhm.
That song's awesome.
Mhm.
Gets everybody hyped whenever I play it. Show them. I'll be putting that song on in the morning when I'm going to work because I don't want to go and just put that on. Okay, all right. At least now I'm motivated to get my day going because that's why I love music, you know, to get through the hard times. Not anything particular, but that mostly, you know. And when you can feel someone's passion and just how hard they've worked and put emotion into it, like you did with that song, it makes you respect the artist more, I feel like.
Yeah,
So when you recorded this stuff, do you go to studios or do you record at home? Do you have a home studio?
yeah. I have a little setup. I record myself, and then we talking about in general. We talking about full moon.
In general, just like now, I mean, full moon, of course, because the quality on that's really good on the mastering, the engineering on it, just the leveling, everything. I would say.
Well, full moon. I did all of that myself at the
Okay.
crib.
Okay.
Yeah, but not. But nowadays, I record myself, whatever. But I go ahead and send it to my partner
Hmm.
out there in Fresno to go ahead and get me right and everything.
Is that just because he's really precise and
Oh yeah, yeah,
really good
yeah.
with it?
Oh yeah, because at this stage in the game, like he knows my voice like the back of his hand. Like
Hmm. Hmm.
we've been down since 2015.
Okay. That's what's
Yeah,
up.
so at this point, I mean, I get the majority of all of my beats from him
Yeah,
and everything.
that's really good as a musician too, and it's hard when you don't. Is to have, if not one, a couple producers that you can go to, be like, hey, yo, let me get a beat. You got a couple to choose from, and then having an engineer, a vocalist that does mix down your vocals, and then somebody else or the same person that does the mastering of the whole song. Because when you're doing yourself, I feel like you'll think it sounds good and go show it to somebody else and it sounds like garbage. Versus if
Right,
somebody else that's professional who does it 24/7, they can compare it right then and there to other songs and be like, okay, this is drowned it out, or this sounds too high on the pitches, or whatever it is, frequencies, type thing.
right.
So yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
No,
Ha-
yeah, yeah, and I was gonna say right quick. No, no, he's also an artist himself. He's a singer. He's a rapper as
okay.
well too. So shout out to my bro,
I mean, if you want to
Big
mention them too, shout them out. We'll put them in the comments.
Big Drew
Big group.
out there in Fresno, California. He a caterer too, the goods. Make sure y'all get that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He catered my daughter's first birthday.
Nah, that's what's up.
Understand? Yeah,
Gotta get
it's
that
like
good
that.
food. That's what's up.
It's like that.
So, when you started doing shows, how did you get shows? Did you have anybody put you on, or did you reach out to other people and get them?
No. When I first started doing shows, my own shows, uh, it was a little bit of reaching out. It was a little bit of they heard my music somewhere, and so they reached out.
Okay.
And, yeah, yeah. So it was cool. It was cool.
What do you feel like the biggest growth you've had as an artist from the beginning to now? Like what you've learned, and you could tell another artist, this is what you've got to learn. And I wish I would have known this in the beginning, but now that I know it, it's definitely something that you need.
I would say, finding your own voice. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to, do what everybody's doing. Don't try to sound like how everybody else is sounding. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to copy what's hot right now. Don't be the next nobody. You got to be the first you. You know what I'm saying?
Can definitely appreciate that.
And that's how I feel about that. I've always felt like that.
That's what's up. So you write your own material? You write all your
Oh
own
yeah,
stuff?
I write every single thing.
That's
I
what's up.
write, I write, I write it all. I
Yeah,
write it
man,
all.
because you got a lot of people out there that got ghostwriters that are big, and it's interesting because it's like if you got the money to pay for a team that writes for you and you can put out 100, 200 albums, or not albums, but singles, songs, tracks a year, why wouldn't you do that versus being able to have to write all that and then not be able to focus on other stuff? But
Yeah, I mean,
then,
because I feel like, no, I'm sorry, yeah, but no, but I feel like writing,
mhm.
if you can't write, if you can't write your own material, if you don't write your own material, I feel like you can't go in that greatest of all time, conversation.
What if
You know what I
you've
mean?
written all your material to a certain point, and now because you're at that certain point, you've got teams doing it now?
Nah,
No,
nah, nah,
not even go with
nah,
that.
nah. You got to write all of it.
No, I'm trying to
You got,
understand because I
yeah,
write all
you
my
got.
own stuff. It's just like comedy shows, for example, Saturday Night Live. All that's written. The actors have stuff that they write. They're comedians on their own. They have their own material, their own skits and stuff. But when they go on that show, their material, their skits are written for them. Is that any different?
Nah, I mean, because they got to come up with them characters themselves on that show.
That's true.
You
They
know
got
what I'm
to
saying? Like,
improvise. They got to feed off
yeah,
other characters in the skit too.
yeah, I mean, because Mike Myers, he created Austin Powers on there. Dan
Hmm.
Aykroyd, he created Blues Brothers and the Coneheads and all of that. You
Chris
know,
Farley.
yeah, Chris Farley and them. So like, yeah, but I feel like as far as comedians, there's there it they play by the same rules to a certain extent. Like I know, like Cat Williams
Yeah.
had brought that point up. Was like, you can't be the best comedian or the greatest comedian of all time if you ain't writing your own material.
How
And
you
I
gonna
feel like,
stand on it? I feel like yeah.
yeah, and I feel like that falls under the same rules of hip hop. Now R&B, that's different because you're not getting judged off of how good
Hmm.
the song is written. You're getting judged off how good you sing it.
You see, but interestingly wise, if the song's not written, you're not gonna sing it good. If it's not written structured to where you can hit those high notes at a certain point with a certain word, it's not gonna sound right then if you're using another word in that same spot.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's just certain people like look like I'll listen to Whitney Houston, Luther Vandross singing the ABCs.
Uh-huh.
That's what that is. It's just that it all depends on how good a person can sing. But hip hop, it's different things. It's different. There's different variables in that you got to pay attention to. It's the bars, it's the cadence, it's the flow, as the word choice, the word structure, the breath control, and you know what I'm saying. It's all of that. Well, for the people the people, the old people who really care about that, who really look for that, you know, because
So
I know I do.
take example Mac Lethal. He's a freestylist, has a YouTube channel. People will send him in letters of stories of situations that they're dealing with. He'll take it, turn it into a freestyle that then he raps. It's the story, it's the letter that the person's written, but he's took it and turned it into his own. Now, if somebody writes you a song, you're not going to do it the exact same way that the song's written, right? You're going to change it, structurize it to make it so that it applies to you. How is that not the same? If you remix somebody else's song, vocal remix, you take that song, you make it your own. Interesting notion, no?
And is this using their hook or their concept
It
that
could
they
it,
had on
it
the
could be the
song? Or,
original concept talking about depression. I'm down. This certain thing gets me up, and you take it and make it the same thing. But now, instead of being about alcohol, it's about weed getting you up. For example, like I did with Tell It to the Blunt instead of Tell It to the Bottle.
Right. Yeah, I mean, as far as that, I mean, that's not the same as somebody ghostwriting something for you, whatever. Like you're just taking the same concept and you're giving your perspective on that concept. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hmm. I just
I
wanted
mean,
to
I'm
hear your
pretty,
opinion on that.
yeah. I'm pretty sure we have all done that. You go on my Facebook, I got a video pinned right now where I had I had wrote a verse to Jordan Lucas Legend
Hmm.
song talking about the same thing he was talking about in his verse, and I killed Rick Ross's verse on there because
Okay.
I felt like his verse wasn't talking about what Jordan was talking about, and it wasn't.
See, and even mainstream big star label artists still do that shit. And it's
Yeah,
very interesting that you could be at that level, that capacity, and that still happens. You would think there would be contracts and things written that says, hey, this better be on point, and if it's not, then you're going to get some type of loss because you didn't go with what was said on the song.
right.
You would think.
Yeah, because as far as that song in particular, like that song spoke to my spirit
Hmm.
and everything that he was saying, that Jordan was saying in his first verse. I could feel what he was talking about.
So in that same degree, I'm saying I could write you a song about a subject that I feel you would understand and go through, but I don't think, and it's nothing against you, that you would be able to write it, that I would be able to write it because of what I've gone through. And
Right,
I could hear, and you could turn it, incorporate it, and make your own as an artist, as a musician, but you would think that would be taken wrong or looked down upon in the hip hop industry because that's what a ghostwriter does.
right. I mean, well, I feel as far as that, like, no, nobody can write you like you can write you. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like, the only
Yeah.
thing anybody can do is just take an idea of what you're saying, take the concept of what you're saying, and give their best perspective of it. You know
Definitely.
what I'm
But
saying?
it's not going to
Like,
be the same as what you would write or how you would feel in the same instance if you were to
right,
write it. That makes a
right,
lot of sense. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. And it might be 1,000% better if you were to write it than if a person was to give it to you and then you just got to record it.
right.
Hmm. Definitely. All right, bro. Well, that's the time we got. Freaking Zoom's telling me it's running out of time. So this was definitely good. We're gonna have to do another session, I feel like, because this isn't long enough to get into everything. I appreciate you coming on such a quick notion. You guys be sure to go check them out. You got anything you want to shout out right now?
Yeah. I actually, I actually just got major distribution with Empire Records, so shout
Uh,
out to them. I got a new song I'm about to drop, new video I'm about to shoot, so y'all make sure to look out for that.
okay. I'll be sure to drop all your pages in the comments, your YouTube, your Facebook, your main
Yeah,
page, all that.
and I song No Idea. Make sure y'all check that out. That thing is going off right now. It's fire.
Yeah, it's doing pretty good. So I appreciate your time and your work on that.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, guys. Peace out. Much love. It's Kaotic TV.